This is a short video showing you how to do a works cited entry for a web article using MLA documentation 9th edition style, which is relatively the same to 8th edition style. So the first thing you need to figure out is whether or not the source that you have counts as a short work on a web page or a website. A short work on a website would be something like an online news article, an online magazine article, a just general web article. It might be even just a web page on a website that doesn't have a specific author. And basically any work that is published within a larger work online will count as a short work on a web page, and they all use the same type of works cited entry. So you'll have a lot of sources that follow this same pattern. So the first thing that you need to start looking for is what you need to include in the works cited entry. Now, some of these things you may not have, in which case you just skip over it. So first thing you're going to look for is an author. If you have a person's name, they count as the author. Sometimes an entity can count as an author, but typically you need a person's name. If you don't have a person's name, then you won't include anything. You'll just start with the article title. You will have an article title, otherwise it does not count as an article. An article title will be placed in quotation marks on your works cited entry, but it will be, to locate this, you're looking for the title most immediate to the text of the article. So it'll be the one right above the text of the article. Your website title will be the title at the top of the page, not in the URL bar, but up at the top of the page, you'll see the website that it came from. Sometimes this is in special font, sometimes it's in sort of a box. It's set apart from the rest of the screen so that it visually looks like the title. Then you want to look for a publisher or sponsor. This is typically at the very bottom of the web page. This would be near the copyright. Sometimes it's listed. It would be anyone who has published or entity that's published the website. You want to look for a date. This would be date of publication or a date of last update in the case of a web page. And then you want to, of course, copy and paste the URL, and that would come out of the URL bar. So this is our example here. And let me just show you the different elements that we've found. So first off, we have our author. We include the author as last name first and then first name. The reason we invert the name like this is so that you can alphabetize by the last name of the author. Then there's a period, and then we include the title of the article itself in quotation marks. And so again, this is the title that's most immediate to the article itself. Then this is the title of the website. The entire website will be in italics. This is the large work title, or the container title, as MLA calls it. Then we include a comma. The publisher will go right here if the publisher is different from the website title. Often the website will be titled with whatever the entity is that also published it. So American Red Cross publishes its own website, so you don't need to repeat those two. And I'll show you what I mean here in just a second. And then this is the date. So this would be the date that it was uploaded or published or updated, and then the period, and then of course your URL will go after that. This is what the article link will look like. So this link will take us to the page that I'm looking at, and this I'll show you where I found this information. So you can see when you're looking at a website, you've got a lot of stuff on here, some advertising, and so it can be kind of confusing to find stuff. Usually the author will be toward the top, but sometimes they will list it underneath the text of the article. This is the article title because it is the most immediate to the text of the article. So it's right above, and then of course you can find the date. So these three things are pretty easy to find right away. The title of the website though can be kind of tricky because it depends on what it looks like up here at the top. Here we see Inside Higher Ed is in this special box right here. And if you look at the URL, it kind of matches. We have insidehighered.com. So that's probably going to be our title of our entire website. And no matter what you click on, you will always see this at the top. So that's a good indication that is the title of the entire website. However, the website title is not insidehighered.com. It is just Inside Higher Ed. So keep that in mind, that the URL is not the same. When you scroll down, that's where you'll find things like your publisher. So in this case, the publisher is the same as the website, so I don't need to include that twice. I also don't need to include the copyright date because I have a date of publication. URL is up here in the URL bar. This is where you've searched, and so that is what you would copy and paste onto your Works Cited entry. So this has been a really quick just example of how to do a very common type of source, which is a short work on a website or a web article or news article online.